I'm Meg Carney, an outdoor and environmental journalist, and this is the Outdoor Minimalist podcast. Thank you for joining us so that together we can create a better outdoor space as we recreate. 'Tis the season to ramp up capitalism, am I right? Today I have a solo episode for you, and these are extremely uncommon. I much prefer having a guest to do all the talking. But I also wanted to share some ways that we can hopefully reduce our impact this holiday season despite our increase in shopping. While this podcast primarily focuses on outdoor industry and recreation topics, the holiday season is an exceptionally high waste, high consumption time of year, making it a perfect moment to discuss conscious gift giving and sustainable holiday shopping. The holidays present an opportunity for us to not only celebrate, but also reflect on our traditions and perhaps create new ones that hopefully align with our sustainable values. But before we get to the tips, let's talk about why this might matter. Did you know that from Thanksgiving to New Year's, the volume of waste in the United States increases by about 25%? And that amounts to an additional 1 million tons of garbage every week. Here are just 4 examples of types of waste and areas of waste that increase during the holidays. The first one is food waste. We are getting together with our friends and families. We're maybe buying ourselves more treats at the grocery store. We're making these huge meals, and all of those holiday meals, corporate parties, etc., they contribute significantly to landfill buildup of organic waste. And those organic materials release methane, a potent greenhouse gas. There is an easy way to avoid this. First, eat leftovers. Who doesn't love killer leftovers? Actually, I know quite a few people that don't like leftovers, but are there ways that you can repurpose the leftovers that you do have so you may be more likely to eat them? And for things like actual food waste, the peelings or the scraps, then invest in a compost system. If you can't invest in one, then see if they have a compost pickup where you live. And if you want to be inspired about how easy compost actually is, I started following this creator, Go Green with Alexa. I will link her in the show notes. She's on Instagram and TikTok, and I love her compost content. Back to waste. Okay, gift wrap and packaging. About 2.3 million pounds of wrapping paper ends up in the landfill every single year. And much of this is because gift wrap is not recyclable due to the coatings, glitter, or tape. I have a whole episode on wrapping paper. It's a bonus episode from 3 years ago. I'll link it in the show notes. But if you want a deeper dive into the actual waste that gift wrap and packaging produces, then check that out. Next area of waste, decorations. We probably all already went shopping and have our decorations up, except for me because I don't decorate for the holidays. And you don't have to. I just want to say you do not have to decorate for the holidays. It's not a requirement, but I do understand that it brings kind of like a festive Christmas cheer. So I don't blame anyone for decorating, but many holiday decorations like tinsel or plastic ornaments or runners, whatever it might be, they're made from petrol materials. They're made from plastics. Some of them, like tinsel, are single use and they're non-biodegradable. So yes, it might add a little bit of glimmer to the tree, but are there ways that you can make it reusable? Are there ways that you can integrate a natural decoration? The last example as to waste is our shipping materials. With the rise of online shopping and platforms like Amazon, all of these cardboard boxes, bubble wrap, and other shipping materials, they pile up and they add a ton of extra burden on our waste management systems. Not to mention, most of that is just going in the trash and not actually being recycled. But to put it all into perspective, the amount of waste generated during the holidays could fill over 15,000 football fields with trash every single year. Beyond filling landfills, this waste strains recycling facilities and contributes to pollution in our waterways and ecosystems. So understanding the scope of holiday waste gives us the motivation to rethink our traditions and choose more sustainable alternatives. So with this in mind, let's explore some strategies as to how we can reduce our impact specifically when giving gifts and going holiday specific shopping. First, consider foregoing traditional gift giving. I know that foregoing physical gifts can sound a little bit weird or sad, but it doesn't have to be, okay? It can open the door to meaningful new traditions. And let's face it, gifts often just turn into clutter and can quickly be discarded if they're not well thought out. There are a lot of gifts that I think back on in my life that they weren't super useful and they just ended up collecting dust in a box somewhere. I'm not saying this for most of my gifts. I also get a lot of lovely gifts, but that's just one example. Instead, we can prioritize experiences over physical possessions. And here are a few ideas. You can plan a shared experience. You can plan a really cool family hike, or maybe a full weekend camping trip. You can go visit a local Christmas market or have a family photo shoot. I know those are just a few random examples that not everyone would love, but there's a lot of different ways that we can spend our time, and building it around experiences is a beautiful way to potentially start a new annual tradition. If you're starting a new tradition, this is a really cool collaborative group activity that you can kind of do with your loved ones and the people you usually celebrate the holiday with. And you can create an experience that everyone is looking forward to. Maybe it's as simple as cooking a special meal together, or volunteering at a soup kitchen or the local animal shelter, wherever it might be. You can also use this time to get outside and explore a new destination. Go on a ski trip, or maybe you turn the holiday into a vacation every single year. I do know one of my friends, her family, they left gifts behind a long time ago, and instead they choose a place together and they go visit as a family. That's not feasible for everyone, but just an idea. If you do decide that gifts are the right thing for you and your family and your friends, then consider asking about their specific needs and or wants. Because if a gift is a must, we might as well make it meaningful and useful. So start by asking loved ones directly what they might want or need. This sounds so silly, but actually making a Christmas list helps you invest your time and money seeking out a gift for someone that you love that is really intentional. I also think that's a great way to express our love to each other. I mean, one of the love languages is gift giving or receiving. I don't remember which one, but it's gifts. Okay. So you like receiving gifts or you like giving gifts, whatever it might be. But that is one way that people do express and accept love, and making it more intentional, I think, is really beautiful. You can also consider practical or goal-oriented gifts. These are hard times that we are in. We've been experiencing a lot of inflation with our basic needs, right? And so consider offering to cover an expense. Maybe you help out with bills one month, or you invest some money into their student loan payments, or even you contribute to their child's education fund. There's so many expenses that we have in our lives, and if we have the extra income and we can help someone out, that is a great gift. The next one could be a subscription of some kind. It could be a non-physical subscription, something digital online. Maybe they want a streaming service, or they really wanted to check out an online therapy. Whatever it might be, you can help pay for that subscription either year outright or month to month. And there's also other subscriptions that deliver physical goods and essentials to your house, such as sustainable toilet paper. I mean, we all remember Toilet Paper Gate 4 years ago, but we all are mostly using toilet paper. We may have a bidet, but most of our homes at least have a little bit of toilet paper. And so you could invest in a subscription to sustainable toilet paper, such as Who Gives a Crap or Real, or even other things, like a meal delivery kit if they're someone who's really busy and they maybe wanted to test it out, an online language learning class, or a subscription to masterclass where they can learn on their own terms. There are so many cool gifts that are non-physical or even physical that are super meaningful and useful and amazingly practical. And you can use tools like Google Sheets to share lists with families and prevent overlap. That way, you make sure that you're giving a gift that they truly want. What if you are in that group of people that gift giving is a love language or gift receiving? Then consider shopping sustainably and locally. When you're purchasing a physical gift, prioritize sustainability as much as you can, but also the local minority-owned businesses. Support small businesses in your area. Seek out local artisans and makers who use sustainable practices. And learning about sustainable businesses is one way that you can align with more ethical practices, right? Listening to a podcast like this one can help you identify sustainable product materials, read through greenwashing, and also get an introduction to brands that are producing more sustainably. You can also use platforms like Earth Hero that already provide a curated list of environmentally friendly options. And if shopping women-owned specifically is really important to you, for Women-Led Wednesday, I did create a list of all of the amazing women and brands that have been on this podcast. It's on our Instagram at outdoor.minimalist.book. So consider buying from one of them, support them. And next, choose durable materials. We talk about this a lot on the show, right? Look for products that are made from sustainable, long-lasting materials. We specifically talk about that in textiles in episode 3 of this podcast. If you are someone super crafty, maybe you're a gifted baker, embrace DIY homemade gifts or even secondhand gifts. Handmade gifts are so fun and so personal, and I think knowing that that person not only thought to give you a gift, but then spent their time, energy, and likely money for supplies to make something for you. I don't know. I just think that is so beautiful. Secondhand treasures can also be a really fun way to express creativity in gift giving. So you can explore local thrift stores or even online platforms like Facebook Marketplace and Poshmark if you want a unique and more affordable find. And for this next tip, I talked about it a little bit at the beginning of this episode about wrapping paper, because wrapping paper is one of the largest contributors to holiday waste. Consider trying alternatives like a fabric wrap that can be reused every single year. Or if you're getting a package from, I don't know, maybe Chewy, you ordered a supplement for your dog. I'm thinking that because that just happened to me. And they always put this brown paper inside the box to ship that item. And that brown craft paper could be reused into wrapping paper. And if you don't like the look of the crinkles, then you can iron those crinkles out for a flat sheet and even maybe decorate it. And one really, really fun thing that my parents always did was to use the funnies in the newspaper and use that as wrapping paper. I always looked forward to reading the funnies that I got that year and also seeing if my brothers were better. I don't know, that's just a fun thing that my family did, but there's a lot of other types of paper that you are receiving on a regular basis, or you might just have around that you can upcycle into wrapping paper. The last thing that I am going to bring up is to start conversations and to allow sustainability to become a conversation that is normalized and regular in your home, and to use the holidays as an opportunity to inspire your friends and family. That creator, Go Green with Alexa, that I mentioned earlier with the compost, she actually brought her compost bucket to her family holiday get-together, and everyone loved it. They were all asking questions, and they were using the compost. It became a learning experience and a very memorable one. So share why you're choosing sustainable options and invite them to join you in rethinking these consumer habits and trends, because sometimes those small steps can ripple out into larger changes. Those are all the tips I have for holiday shopping for you as we close in on Christmas time. And the holidays can be so joyful without being overly wasteful. Whether you're simplifying your gift giving by supporting local brands or focusing on experiences over possessions, these steps can make huge differences.
Thanks for listening. And if you like what you hear, let me know. Leave a review and be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can find us on Instagram at outdoor.minimalist.book, on YouTube, or subscribe to our weekly newsletter at theoutdoorminimalist.com. For even more updates, other educational resources, and to help build an outdoor community with the shared goal to create a better outdoor space as we recreate.